Hey, this is Max with BeachLifeIncome.com, and today we're going to talk about the very first step. Now, we said the very first step is to find a niche, and we're going to ask you a few questions to get you started finding that niche. We talked about in the first step, it really needs to be something you're interested in. So, the first question you need to ask yourself is, what do I like to do most? Don't think about whether you can make money with this niche. We'll talk about those things later. Don't worry about that piece yet. Just explore what is it that you like to do. So for instance, I like to saltwater fish. I like to cook. I like to make money on the internet. I like to work out. What do you enjoy doing the most? That's the first question you need to ask yourself, and think about it and write those things down on a piece of paper or on your computer. The old fashioned way is paper. So, what do you enjoy doing the most? The second question you need to ask yourself is this: what do you have expertise in? Now, this isn't as important as knowing what it is you like to do the most. But having expertise in a subject does help in certain subjects. But what I will tell you is this: you don't have to be an expert in something. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of niches where a lot of people will say, I'm going to learn something. And they start with the idea that they know a little bit about it and they're going to record their journey, whether it be with video or blogging or both. And as they go along and learn a subject like fitness or cooking, they get better and better at it. And that's the way life is anyway, right? You start off with something and you get better and better and better at it. And I'm going to take a little time out right here to encourage you in this matter of affiliate marketing. One of the things that I see a lot is that people will read about this subject or watch videos and learn more and more about the subject, but never actually dive in. And I'm going to tell you this: every day that you waste is a day that you could have been closer to having a new income stream. So I encourage you to actually do those things that we're talking about. If I say go build a website, go build a website. If I say do keyword research, go ahead and do it. Don't just don't just watch and read and keep investigating. Eventually, you got to actually step in and do it. So, going back to the niche, it doesn't matter necessarily that you don't have great expertise in the subject. You can always show that you're learning it, and people will be interested in that adventure that you're going on. And then one day you will be the expert and you will have a following already, and now you can present yourself as the expert in a particular subject. So go ahead and think about what it is you love to do, and then what do you actually have expertise in. They don't necessarily have to match. Okay. The third thing that you might want to do is, and might, because this could be discouraging, but go to someone, your friends or your family or coworkers, and say, hey, what is it that you believe that I'm good at? What is it that you've noticed in my life that I'm good at? Now, this is an iffy one because people might discourage you from doing what you're about to do, or maybe they say, I don't know what you're good at all. So I don't want you to get discouraged or get down if someone doesn't come up with something. But it's a good way to go ask people, because sometimes there's hidden talents or things that people believe about you that you might not know about yourself. And they might think, well, that person's really good at such and such, and you probably never even thought about it. So it's just another way to spark some ideas as to what niche you need to be in. So some of the ideas are, do you like to garden? Do you like music? Do you like to play music? Do you like to cook? Do you like to fish? Do you like to play tennis? Do you like college football or professional football or baseball or sports? Or, you know, do you like reading and want to just have a blog about various books and talk about what it is that you learn from each one of those books? There's a million different ways to go about this. So give it some time. Think about what it is that you truly enjoy. So the next thing that you might want to think about is in this niche, it needs to be a niche that you won't exhaust. So in other words, you don't want something so unique and small that you could cover it in 30 videos. You want something that you'll never exhaust. So like cooking, you're never going to be able to stop talking about all the different methods of cooking or all the different recipes or fishing or football or most things, most subjects you can never exhaust. But I just want to kind of warn you, don't pick a subject that is too narrow that you could exhaust in a year. You want something that is inexhaustible. You want to be able to go on and on and on and talk about this particular subject. And for our example video, I want to talk about a few things. And are people searching for answers in your niche? That's a big one. Okay, so if you pick a niche, I want you to do this research. I want you to find out, are people searching for answers in your niche? Now, there's many ways you can figure that out. We're going to have a lot of smaller videos after this to help you determine whether or not this niche is profitable and things of that nature. But are people searching? So let's go and look for that answer. So one of the sites that I would use is Quora. And you can go to Quora.com. It requires that you sign in. And this is where people ask questions. It's kind of a forum, but you always ask a question. So I'm going to ask a question. How do you catch, I can't even spell, pump. So as you can see, someone has asked this question and someone has answered this question. And then you can see all these other questions. How do you do this? How do you do this? How to do this? And you want to find out whether or not people are interested in this particular subject. Now, this is very detailed about how to catch pompano. So it might be something like, how do you catch fish? Very generic. And then there's going to be a ton of ideas. And you can tell that people are asking, how do I catch fish? How do I catch certain fish? How do I catch fish in murky water? How do I catch fish at Lake Balboa? So that's obviously a hot topic of how to catch fish. So if you're in the gardening, it would be, gardening questions. So this is a good place to go to find out if people are searching for that information. The other thing that you want to do is go to Google and type in, how do you catch pompano? And you'll get results on videos. And then you'll also see up here that there's a tremendous amount of results. And we'll talk about what these numbers mean and what they don't mean in another video. But you can see that these are ranked and people created videos around this question. And so that tells you that there's probably an audience for it if people are willing to make videos about it. That's just one way of knowing whether or not people are searching for this information. The other way to know is by looking at the suggested searches. This is what people actually search for in Google. So how to catch pompano inshore, pompano migration map, best tide for pompano fishing, pompano rigs, and so forth. So people are searching for this particular subject matter. Now, I would not make a blog or a YouTube video channel based on just pompano. This is just an example of, are people searching for something in a way to know whether or not they're actually searching for something. The other way is to look at what Google shows is people also ask in various questions. So you want to know if people are asking these questions. And then, of course, there's web pages focused on just that very question. So that tells you that they've done some keyword research. People are interested in that information, and so they provided that information, which we will talk about in other videos. So it sounds like that's a good part of, if I wanted to talk about fishing and I had a fishing channel, this might be a sub-subject of that channel that's just about pompano. And I could probably talk about that for a long, long time. And then, of course, if you go to YouTube, you'll notice that there are tons of videos about how do you catch pompano. And I want you to notice something, that the results are different, even though it's the same company. That's a big deal. And we'll talk about that in other videos. But on YouTube, when I search, this one's at the top. If I go back, he's at the top for the first one here. But then a different video is number 2. And then this one, if we go back, this one is 3rd. And that is not until this one, the 5th one down. So there's 2 different ways to rank. One's in YouTube and one's in Google. And we'll talk about those things as well. But it's obvious that people want to know information about pompanos. So just go to those 3 methods, Quora, Google, and YouTube. Put in something, a question about your subject matter or your niche, and see if people are interested in it and how much competition is out there. Competition, we'll talk about in another video, is a good thing.